Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's N Square Sports coming back with another video. Today, we're here talking about the first two games of the NBA restart. So today is currently the second day, and right now, as we're recording, we have Orlando and Brooklyn at halftime of their game. But we're gonna be talking about the Jazz Pelicans game and the Lakers Clippers game from last night. This video will go out as soon as we finish recording. So, Nick, tell me about what you thought. I guess first about the Jazz Pelicans game.
Yeah, this is interesting. So I watched that was the first game. I watched that whole thing. Man, that was interesting. Um, the Pelicans looked all right. I don't like the minute restrictions that they're putting on Zion. I, when they're on and they're hard to stop. And I like how they switch. I like their defense. Um, it's what you expect from a young team that has a lot of pressure on them, really. But Zion played all right. Um, Really, I think the main thing is the Jazz. Because I was texting Nick, I think, throughout the whole game, and I was texting others. So like, this team does not look like a four seed team. I think it's what Nick texted me, and they're like, they don't look like a four seed team, and it's so true. And without Bogdanovich, it is so apparent they struggle with scoring. And Donovan Mitchell has to be on point if that team really wants to actually get going. Rudy Gobert is almost a liability on offense. Um, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, to be honest with you, but the guy just he was on the court most of the game, and I think he got hit in the eye, and he was off, and I saw their offense just explode from there, um, and it was like, oh, this offense is actually decent. Rudy Gobert is almost hurting them. I, Defensively, yeah, he made impact because it's Rudy Gobert. He's one of the best. He's the best defender in the NBA. I think you can argue that, really. But man, this team did not look good. I get that they won the game and they came up clutch, but I think that's more to the fact that the Pelicans aren't that amazing of a team. Um, I'm not afraid of the Jazz at all as a fan of a team that will probably play them or has a good chance of it. I don't like them at all. Um, Honestly, besides the eighth seed team, I probably would rather face the Jazz over any single team. I'd almost rather face the Jazz over the Trailblazers if they got in. I just don't like this team at all. It does not scream like they're going to go far at all. Nick, let me hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I'll real quick go through the Jazz. I want to focus a little bit more on the Pelican side of things, but I'll talk about the Jazz quickly. I don't think it's really that fair to say Gobert is a liability on offense because I don't really think that's true. He's very limited, I guess you could say, on offense because he can only score within 2 feet of the basket. Like he cannot shoot at all. He is just there to get the ball down low, to get offensive rebounds, and to put shots back up. He's not a very good free throw shooter, but he came up clutch, making the two game-winning free throws yesterday. So that was something interesting, I think. But you're right. I mean, he's not going to be your offensive scorer. I mean, you have Donovan Mitchell. Mike Conley played really well yesterday, I thought, and Jordan Clarkson off the bench. So, I mean, I think us saying that Bogdanovich was their only offense, I think that was a little bit of a stretch because I think they do have some offense with Clarkson, Mitchell, and Conley. So I think we saw that a little bit more yesterday. But I mean, still, they won't have enough offense to keep up with most teams in the
I
playoff
think
race.
I think it's said that without Bogdanovich, they have one of the second worst offenses in the NBA. It's one of the worst. It's bad, and I think it is clear whenever you watch them without Bogdanovich that they struggle. I mean, they put up 102 or 104 on the Pelicans. I get that there's still some rust, but like it was a stretch of 104 points too.
Yeah, and I think that Donovan Mitchell, as great as he doesn't have a whole lot around him. Mike Conley's a veteran. He's gonna be good. Like he's always gonna be smart with the ball and know what to do. And Rudy Gobert is kind of limited on offense and is a great defender, but is very limited, like I said. So Donovan Mitchell needs a player like Bogdanovich to be on the wing so he can pass. Because right now he's passing to Royce O'Neal and Joe Ingles on the wing. That's just not gonna get it
Mm-hmm.
done. Like you need a better wing player than that. So I mean, I think they have a cap to them that they can't go too far. And I agree with you that they are not a 4 seed, and they really I think are going to struggle. Excuse me. They really will struggle when they play if they are a 6 seed and play the 3 seed, the Nuggets or the Rockets or whoever they play the first round. They're really going to struggle offensively. And also Donovan Mitchell's not a great defender, so I mean you have a liability on defense there. I think so. Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm going to go over to the Pelicans really quick because I wanted to talk about them. So I'm going to just talk about the Pelicans and what I saw from them yesterday. Brandon Ingram, for the little bit I watched, I did not watch this entire game. I watched the first half, and then I watched the very, very end of it on replay. I didn't watch the middle kind of part of the game. But from what I saw from Brandon Ingram, I was very impressed. I mean, he looked really good. I mean, I get he ended up shooting 7 for 20 from the field and 2 for 8 from three. But in the first half, I think he had like 15 points of the 23. So the first half, he looked really good. Not sure what happened in the second half, but first half, he looked very good. He looked almost unstoppable at points in the game. He was just on. His 3-point shot has improved so much, and they need that from him. But the weird part for me is I see that Drew Holiday played 36 minutes, Lonzo played 27, Brandon Ingram played 32, and then Zion played 15. How are you playing Zion 15 minutes? He played great. He got 13 points, 6 of 8 shooting, and made his one free throw. I get he didn't do anything else other than that, but in 15 minutes to score 13 points on that pace, you're going to score 30 points if you keep him in the game. And they needed him. Like, clearly you saw they needed him. They were up big in the first half, and they blew a lead. And Zion being out there, being a force, I think could have helped them not blow that lead. And for the Pelicans, they can't lose games. They need to gain traction. And this one's a big loss for them because to start off defeated, like, oh, we just lost our first game. I get they don't have the best like competition upcoming, but it's a big blow to lose their first game, especially because what if the Trailblazers win their first game, and what if the teams ahead of them win their first game, and that's just another leg up that other teams have on them. So I'm really confused why Zion only played 15 minutes. Now I get he was not in the bubble for a little bit and he hadn't practiced a whole lot, and they wanted to put a minutes restriction on him, I guess. And Zion even said today he was really mad about not playing more. And I just don't get why, when you're trying to make the playoffs, why you don't put Zion in for more than 15 minutes. Even if it's 22, 23, that still could have been the difference in this game.
I definitely, even if they played him 15 minutes, they should have played him in the last play, at least as a decoy. That didn't make sense. Also, like, they gave it to Brandon Ingram, and maybe I do think he probably is the best shooter on their team. He's the best player on their team easily. But they should have put Zion in at least as a decoy. They know he's a threat, and he's a threat in the paint. All they needed was 2 points. They should have put him in. But that's that game. It's interesting because the Jazz have a very tough schedule, and this was a great win for them that they needed, honestly. They had to win this game if they're trying to keep that up in their seeding. The Pelicans needed this win as well, and they have an easy schedule. But, man, this was a must-win game. They had to, and now they're having to rely on the Trailblazers or the Grizzlies to blow it. And they have to pretty much go 6-2 now, which is very possible. But that means really no mistakes from now on. Okay, so the next game, which is the Battle of LA, LA Clippers versus the LA Lakers. There we go. That was an interesting game. I didn't get to watch all of it. I sort of was on and off with it. It was honestly a crappy game, to be completely blunt. The rust was showing. It was just sloppy. It was a sloppy effort from both sides. The Lakers won, but the Clippers were the better team.
Yeah. For me, I didn't watch all of it either, but I did watch kind of sort of in the beginning and then kind of sort of at the end. I watched the last like 5 or 6 minutes of it. Again, it was not a very good game towards the end. The Lakers had a good first quarter, and the Clippers kind of came back in the second half to tie the game, and then it was close throughout the last stretch of it. So it was kind of like, I think the Clippers came out a little rusty, and when they had to put their bench unit in, they really missed Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell. So I think that showed in the first half. But then once they were down, I think the Lakers kind of, put their foot off the gas a little bit and let the Clippers get back into it. And then at the end, it just came down to LeBron willing them to win because Anthony Davis played good the entire game. I think he had I don't even know how many points he had, but he had 35 or 36. I don't know, but it was a lot. So he played great the whole game. And then LeBron had 15, 16 points the entire game. I mean, he played good on defense. And especially at the end, he locked up Kawhi and Paul George really well. And he made really clutch plays on the offensive end too. At the very end, I'm LeBron kind of just willed them to win. And Kawhi just kind of folded a little bit. Now, for the Clippers, Kawhi had 28, Paul George had 30. So that's 58 points of their 101 points that they had. So it's over half. So that just proves, I think, that Lou Williams and Harrell are really important. And Lou Williams would have had 20. Harrell would have probably had 15. So, I mean, that's a big difference because when you have guys like Joakim Noah and JaMychal Green playing big minutes, that's not really great for them. So they really, I think, last night proved two things. One, that the Clippers need Lou Williams and Harrell to play because with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George playing good basketball, they still couldn't come up with the win. But then if you look at the other side, the Lakers need Anthony Davis to play out of his mind to beat the Clippers. I really do believe that. So for both teams, you can take away that they weren't at their best yesterday. And LeBron, it just came down to, it's a close game. I'm just going to will us to win for this time. But I think both teams realize they need to improve in these next 7 games, or else we could see both of them not in the Western Conference Finals. And I'm serious on that. I think there are teams out there that if they have a good stretch of basketball, they can knock both of these teams out.
Absolutely. I'm not concerned about the Clippers, to be honest with you. I'm really not. When I watched them, it was a little sloppy, but they got it together, and they played good defense. They played well. I'm not concerned about the Clippers, really, when you have 2 of your better players out. I'm concerned about the Lakers, really, more so, is because, it's just the lack of depth isn't really that amazing, and you're relying pretty much. I mean, I think they probably knew this whenever they went all in on AD and LeBron, is that you're pretty much banking on these guys being the 2 best players in the NBA every night. That's what you're banking on. Because if one of them if AD has a bad night, there's no way that team wins.
Yeah, good luck.
There's no way that team wins. And I'm being serious about that. It's not an exaggeration. If LeBron has a bad night, I think they can win if other guys step up. But if AD has a bad night, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, AD is the most unguardable player on the court usually most nights because he's 7 feet tall and can space 4, shoot threes, one of the best defenders in the league. He is so much. And LeBron, I'm not discrediting him at all. He's just, what you're going to get with LeBron, and he's going to play tough. He's going to be clutch. All of that. So you get all of that. But if Anthony Davis, because LeBron is more of a player that in the moment he's going to play well, but in the moments that aren't super important, in the midway through the second quarter, midway through the third, he's not going to be on point most of the time. He waits for the clutch moments to step up. Anthony Davis needs to be the guy who plays well the entire game because, like you said, with the lack of depth without Avery Bradley, you're relying on Kyle Kuzma, J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters to, play really good. And if AD is not consistent and if he has a quarter where he doesn't score, teams are going to catch up. So
yeah, make sure you tune in, and yeah, bye.